Hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Today, I have a special guest, my boyfriend, Ilbron.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me here today.
I'm excited to finally have a guest, and what an honor to have my partner. I did a post on Instagram to ask you guys what you guys wanted to listen to, what topics interested you guys, what themes we wanted to go off. One of the questions that was brought up a lot was, can you guys talk about what it's like to date in an intercultural relationship? As many of you guys know, I'm Mexican and he is Assyrian. For those who don't know what Assyrian people are, they are one of the first civilizations in the world. They're part of the Mesopotamians. If you're Christian, you're a little bit familiar with who they are, but if not, um, that's pretty much what they are. So, one of the questions was, what is it like to date someone from a different culture from you? So, what it's like for you?
For me, it's normal because, first reason is you're Christian. And for me, is I don't look at the cultural aspect. I look at more as a human being. And I think we all humans and we are even. And pretty much the cultural stuff, it comes at the end, but it's all about finding the right person in life. Um, and what do you think?
I agree with you. I think the culture is not one of the top priorities. Like you said, our beliefs, our values are way more important than where you come from. Sometimes we come from different parts of the world and just fate brings you across another person. Um, it's not that we're different, we just have different cultures and beliefs that nowadays it's pretty common to have intercultural relationships and they work out. Back then, they were very exclusive. You marry your own people.
Yeah.
It was something very in like traditional form. Now everybody's not 100% anything.
Yeah, the only benefit is when you marry an insider is, when your kids grow up, you can speak the same language and carry on.
To go off of that, I think nowadays in modern times, if a child knows more than two languages, it's like really appraised. You even in careers, you get paid more if you speak more than
Correct.
two languages. So, yes, like they're going to be more fluent in maybe, like you said, if you speak Assyrian, the children will be fluent in that language. But, like in our case, they would speak Assyrian, English, Spanish, and Farsi because that's the country you were raised.
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine now children are more, not that they're more intelligent, but they're exposed to a different part of their brain and kind of advanced, advantage.
I agree.
Yeah. Another question that was brought up a lot for all of you guys that listen to me consistently in the podcast, you know that I praise being a traditional woman. So, what is a traditional woman? Is like she cooks, she cleans, she takes care of kids, she's at home. But you guys also know that I praise how independent I am, so ambitious. What do you think about the modern day 50-50?
Well, I don't believe in 50-50, because if you find somebody and you love them, you want it to be one. Basically, you guys come one. That's why you guys are together. 50-50, I don't look at it like that, but in this generation, it's very hard because everything's a little bit expensive. The 9 to 5 job is kind of like cutting it for one person if it works as a man. As a man's duty is to work and support the family and the wife and the kids. And but now the price is going up. It's very hard for a man to make a provide for the family. So if the woman can help a little bit, I think is fair, but it's not like, I don't think the man's supposed to force the woman to work. My dad never let my mom, have a job because he was a provider, but. That's a long time ago.
Exactly.
And the prices are changed since then, but in reality, there's no 50-50, if you want me to answer that question. What do you think?
So, yeah, I agree. Like, traditionally, you're saying in your core values, you're a traditional man. We know that statistically, most people can't survive on one income.
Correct.
It's very, especially in California, where it's the most expensive, people can't rely on just one income. It's nearly impossible. The people who are part of the high percentage, which I would hope one day we are, I feel like I would be okay with you taking that responsibility and me focusing on my household. But like I said, it's a partnership. It's you have to be realistic. You can't just expect. I on my part, I'm realistic, and I see that it's necessary to have multiple incomes, multiple sources of income, right?
Right.
I agree with you. The 50-50 is very a term that is used a lot to. I feel like it manipulates people into forcing men to step up.
The reason behind it is all this Instagram and TikTok and social media, people posting stuff that, making other people wonder how these guys making all this money and buying this stuff. And as a human being, we always want more. So we're always chasing for something better in life. But overall, I think most of these things are rigged in social media. It just creates very drama and a lot of problems in the relationship because everybody wants to be better than each other.
Yeah, I think it raises a high expectation for men.
Right.
That the bar is extremely high, that it makes the men who are working maybe a 9 to 5 feel like it's impossible. Not only does it make men like feel like they're a burden, that they feel the need to attack women. Like, I've heard a lot of people say those women are gold diggers because they want men that buys them Gucci, Louis Vuitton, take them on jets. But let's be realistic. What percentage of these men are actually in the top 2% who are millionaires, billionaires? Most of us are unfortunately not. Not yet. Hopefully we all strive to work hard, like you said. Every day we don't want to wake up and be complacent where we are. We always want to work harder.
That's true. Every human being, I think, is like that. But the people that have kids and have responsibilities, it's hard for them to, because they already have a steady job. They get afraid to move from the job or find somebody somewhere else to provide for their family, to take a step. Sometimes it's good to take a risk at life. Until we don't fall, we don't grow. Correct.
Very true.
Yeah. It's like a tree. If the tree doesn't have a good base, it will always, with the wind, will fall down. But if they have strong roots, even the water comes, storm comes, always gonna stay there.
That's actually in the Bible. It talks about like where the tree is planted. It matters. If there's storms, if whatever the case is you go through, your base is good, the foundation, you're good. Yeah. You can put up with whatever comes.
I will never forget, I had a math teacher, and that's a long time ago, and then he would say, hey, if you don't pass this math class, how you're going to go to the next class? Mm-hmm. If your roots are not strong enough, you will not make it to the top. So that always carried with me, for a long time.
And that it's in everything, in relationships and family matters and career. Your base has to be strong in order for it to blossom into a tree.
Correct.
Personally, in our relationship, we both are business owners. You have your own business. what is it like? The question goes for each other, both. What is it like to be with someone who's really ambitious?
Kind of motivates you to do better in life, and it's kind of when you're on the same mindset, you're always going for something better in life. But if you wouldn't work or anything, if it would be like, oh, we're gonna go have fun. But the good thing about you is you don't let me, you let me do whatever I have to do. And a lot of people, a lot of guys I see, they're at the job and they have their earbuds, they're talking to their wives and the kids, they're always arguing, fighting. That goes on all day for a guy or a man who's trying to provide for the family. Some of them, they have trust issues. They call, they check 24/7 where the guy is, what is he doing. But thanks God we don't have this problem.
I would 100% agree with you. As a ambitious woman myself, and dating a very ambitious woman, man, I would say that he works long hours, not just 2 3 days, every single day. He works very long hours, and it works out because I'm independent too. I like to work on my own stuff. I don't like to be on each other's business 24/7. We're both working towards the same goal, which is financial security, stability, a home, children, but we're independently working the same way, right?
Correct.
So if he's here until 10 p.m., I'm probably working until 10 p.m. too. Not necessarily in the same space, but we're doing the same thing. It's not like how he said he's working and I'm home, like laying down doing nothing, or I'm out with my friends spending money. We're both working towards the same goal. And I feel like it's very necessary in a relationship for it to work out. Two ambitious people dating, you can't stop them. It doesn't work out when you're pushing one person to follow you to.
Yeah.
But when you're going towards the same place, it works out. This question I talked about in a few episodes ago, and I'm curious to know what you think. Now that we're talking about success and ambition and similar goals, how would you feel if the woman, in this case myself, I was making more money than you?
I think it's good because, as I said, the first question you asked, what do you think about 50/50? I said we are all even equal. If we bring more income, which is fine, I think it's better for the family. It doesn't matter who makes the more money. It comes all to the same household,
I definitely see like where you're going, and honestly, yes, because you see it as we're a partnership, not individual.
Correct.
So if you win, I win.
Yes.
It all affects all of us. But let's say some men, there's been cases where the woman starts to make more money. She's more independent. She's not leaning on the man so much. So now she buys her own stuff. She does her own things. And it kind of feels like the man is threatened because he doesn't have enough say in the money, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Sometimes women trying to wear the pants and trying to act like a man, but this is a mental way. But I think as long as they respect each other and be kind to each other, I don't think there's going to be any issues. If the woman makes more money and the man is sitting at home cooking and take care of the kids, I think the man is supposed to work as well. Again, I said, as a man, it's your duty to work and provide for your family. Even if he makes a little bit money, it's fine, as long as he's busy working, doing something.
For myself, like I mentioned before, and you guys already heard, if I were to be making more money, let's say, than you, I would motivate you
Exactly.
to reach to where I'm going.
Right.
I would not be like, babe, I got you, don't work. I would be like, come on. If I'm doing it, you're doing it with me. There's no reason for you to lay back.
Yes.
Because it's all about responsibility. Like, I believe in the masculine, feminine energies and having a dynamic where there's of each. Like you said, the women feel like they have to be masculine because they're making more money. But I know how to place myself in a way that, yes, I'm supporting you financially, but you're still the one with the leadership, the overall responsibility of the household, correct? I'm not going to take away that from you.
As a family, we have to, before we do anything, we have to come on to our agreement. It's not like I say, you say. At the end, it's going to work out together as a team.
I think that's where I need to work on because I'm stuck very in my traditional ways. Whereas, like, when I grew up, it was everything that my dad say. My dad said this. You can go to your friend's house if your dad said, you know. And now, like, we're transitioned to work together, to not have those like machista traditional values that we were raised with. Like you said, both can have the responsibility as equal, right? Without having to lean so much on someone.
As we speak, my dad was a very respectful guy, and as a kid, because we grew up in the Middle East, a lot of fathers used to hit their son, and my dad was very straight up with me, and I always respect him. And if he told me to not to go to somebody's house or don't have a relationship with somebody, I would always respect his opinion because he's older and he has more. I mean, my dad passed away now, but he was older and he had more knowledge, more experience. He knew probably something that he didn't want me to go through it or something happen, in general. But I would always respect my family. As I accept what they said, not accept, but I, as a respect, honor,
Yeah.
correct.
Like you said, you looked up to your father and respected and what he advised you. Was it the same for your mother?
My mother was a little bit more aggressive, and I respect that. But as I get older, I got better a little bit. She wasn't controlling, but she always wanted the best
Yeah.
best for us.
The thing is, men, like, this is from a psychological point. Men think with their mind, they're rationally, whereas women think more emotionally.
Correct.
Your mom wants safety for you, whereas your dad is thinking beyond the emotions.
Right.
He's thinking rationally. Physiologically, we're conditioned to be like that. Men are usually less emotional than women, which creates a different dynamic in parents.
As a man, we always think, let's say we get point A to point B. We always think hours and we do study to what's the fastest way to get there, But like, for example, in our relationship, that didn't happen yet. We've been together over 6 years, and that never happened between us. But in some relationship, the girl or the woman goes by their feelings and kind of gets complicated for a man.
What do you mean in their emotions? Like, they think with their emotions rather than rationally?
Yes. And for example, let's say there is a war going on, I grab you and then I tell you run. You're gonna ask me 1,000 questions. Why are you doing this? It's just my instinct. I tell you to save you.
Like, you're thinking like, we gotta go, and I'm here questioning why. Yeah. Well, what is going on? Or I definitely
It's just an example.
agree. Yeah. I can see how, like, modern relationships, like you said, we have been dating for a long time. I think our relationship is more rational than emotional. Of course, we love each other. We want to live together. But we always plan before we take the step, right? So, like, if many of you guys know, we've been working on our business. That has been the priority of this relationship. To get financial security. Yes, we want to wake up next to each other. Who doesn't with their partner? But is it realistic to take the step? Now that eventually everything's settling down, we decide to take different steps, right?
Right.
And I feel like a lot of these relationships nowadays, they're like, oh, we've been dating 1 year. Let's move in together. Like, let's, the situation is different, but they're not thinking rationally. It's more emotionally, right?
Right.
They're driven by their emotions rather than logically saying, is it going to affect me in what way, right? Like you said, most older men that have families, they're not willing to take the risk of starting a new business. It's too risky.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship and you have a family, is very makes it a little harder for a man to make a move like that. You know, unless they came from a very rich family. You know, when they have a good background as a like they're businessmen and stuff like that. When they have a good potential, like money saved,
Yeah.
you know, then they can back it up. Yes, but start from scratch, but living paycheck to paycheck is very tough.
Yeah. And a lot of you guys don't know, but like, I don't know if we're not really into a lot of astrology, like Capricorn. I'm not really into that. But they say like Capricorns are usually very logical. They like to plan things out. They like to wait on things. They don't like to take risks. We don't like to spend money. Whereas you're a Cancer, which are like risk takers. They will go fearless without. That's kind of how our relationship is. And I feel like it's very grounding for our relationship. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit out.
You always tell me, hey, why did you buy this, buy this, buy this? The thing is, first, before you love anybody, you gotta love yourself. So always have, if you can afford, always buy the best things for your life. Or do the purchase that you'll be happy with, I believe. I mean, by saving money, there's nothing wrong with it, but I believe the life is too short to be stressed over this kind of stuff. I mean, if you have an opportunity to have something better, why not as well just take advantage for it?
Yeah, and that's where we differentiate because he believes that you should spoil yourself. You should, harvest the fruits of your labor. You work 50 hours, 60 hours a week for what? To go home to nothing? You get to enjoy your fruits, right? But at the same time, that's where I come in and I'm like, yes, when you're single, enjoy the fruits of your labor. When you become one with your relationship, your partner, it's not only about you anymore because you have someone next to you that you're planning to have a future. And then when kids come, you're not working for yourself anymore or your wife. You're working for your children.
Correct.
And that's where I transition myself in and I ground him. He's like, you want it? I'll go buy it for you right now. And of course, any girl wants to feel loved, appreciated, like, oh, my man buys me this and that. But I also want to see the responsibility of like planning for the future. And that's where we balance each other, right? He tells me it's okay to go buy something. It's not going to hurt you. $50, $100 shoes is not going to damage your pockets. Like, why are you being stingy? And that's where I feel like we balance each other, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Imagine we're both stingy. We won't have shit. We won't have, imagine we're both reckless, impulsive buyers. We're going to go broke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but the good thing about the United States is, if you want something, you can buy it slowly, you save money or you do it like a payment plan.
Yeah.
At the end, you will get to it, but in other countries, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Because if you're middle class, you just have to work and just go home, basically, call it a day. And very hard to purchase a new vehicle or new phone. It's a little harder. It's not possible. Nothing is possible in life, but it makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yes. In my country, Mexico, nobody owes anything. You either have the money or you don't.
Yeah.
But
there's no middle class. Either you're poor or you're super rich. Yes.
The thing is, in this country, people are so used to being broke because they owe their life to the government, to these credit card companies, you know? Because they give it to you. Oh, you want to buy a car? Here's some money. And then now you're walking with $150,000 in debt.
That's correct. But the thing is, it comes down to how much money you bring home.
Exactly. Don't spend what you don't have.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to look rich, but they really don't got it. You're living paycheck to paycheck, trying to look rich, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really important, like in our relationship, to have boundaries of both. Be responsible both. Like I said before, being a business owner, you have to be responsible.
Oh yeah. When you're a business owner, there's no more 9 to 5. It's 6 to 10 at nights.
It's 24/7.
Right.
If something happens, you gotta get up and go get it done.
Right. Yeah.
Even if you sleep 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Basically, look at the business like that. It's like a tree, and then it has nice, beautiful flowers, and they slowly cut the flowers. You're gonna live with no flowers. The flowers are basically your reputation. If your reputation goes away, basically the tree is empty, naked tree.
What do you think about religion and faith? Do you think it's very important in a relationship for the partners to have similar faith, or they can each have their own individual beliefs and just respect each other?
Well, as we said, if there's two different religions, if the man or the woman is Christian or Catholic and the other person is not in the same religion, they probably, when they have a kid or something, they're gonna have problems. They're gonna say, "Oh, this kid has to grow up this way," and the dad's gonna say, "No, this kid's supposed to be this way." That's where the problem starts. The beliefs.
So you're thinking more long term, how it could affect your children, rather, in the now, like your relationship.
Yes and no. It kind of goes deeper, but is because every religion, I believe, they believe in different worlds. Some of us are spiritual, some of us believe in Jesus. I'm Catholic originally. I believe in God. I go to different churches as well. I think the church is the house of God, and even my dad was Catholic, but he would go to Christian other churches as well. But as again, we are human beings.
Yeah.
I guess we respect each other. I think it should be fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with you, but for me it's different. I think religion and faith is one of the strongest things in a partner that I wished and hoped for. Like you said, there can be a lot of issues that derive from being different. There's when I first met you, I don't know if you remember, but I was very devoted Christian. Everything was Bible talk and church, and I'm going to church 3 times a week. And when I used to pray to God, I would be like, bring me a godly man. I don't care if he's 6'3", blonde, blue eyes, just make him a godly man, because my values derived from that. Obviously, like you said, you're not very religious. You're not consistent in your faith, like you go to church every Sunday, like what a perfect Christian or Catholic would look like, right? But you hold deep your belief, where you come from, what was passed down, what was myself too. I'm not part of a organized religion anymore, so I don't go any churches particular, but I read the Bible on my own. I have my own beliefs, and I created that, and I would be like comfortable having a child and introducing that same faith, whether we're Catholic or Christian or, like you said, Orthodox or Pentecostal. There's different sects of Christianity that drive. They all teach the same book. The thing is, about religion, they become arrogant. They think that their religion is, they try to separate into smaller. And that's where I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Because that's where the ego, the arrogance of the person comes in and distorts what you're really trying to get, which is the word of God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good in that aspect. We're spiritual too. I feel like you're not closed-minded to learn. Because some people, like, I've met, like, respectfully Muslims. I've met Jewish people. I took some classes in college where you couldn't tell them anything because they would attack you. Like, you're wrong. No, this is what it says. And you're not that type of person. You're open. You're like, okay, let me see what you got to say. Right? Well, you're not like going against me. We're working to learn. I don't know everything. You don't know everything.
No, nobody's perfect.
Right? Unless Jesus himself comes down, tries to explain. But we're all learning. You don't really know what's the truth. Nobody does. What if you die and there is no Jesus or God? Buddhists have a strong belief of like afterlife and all of that. We don't know what is the truth.
Yeah, but because my dad was a religious man, he would go to church Sunday, even though sometimes the church would be nobody in Iran. And I believe there is a Jesus Christ and there is a afterlife.
Yeah, but the thing is, Christians don't believe in afterlife. So those are different beliefs.
Yeah.
Whereas if you told a religious Catholic person that you believe in afterlife, they would be like, you're...
So what you tell me is after we die, we're going to turn to powder and there's nothing after this?
That's what Christians believe.
Yeah.
That you go to the new earth.
The thing is, I'm not too knowledgeable about Bible, but as my belief, I don't want to say something wrong and you're going to have a lot of comments under Bible verses coming out. You say if there's no afterlife, then how they come out with hell and heaven?
The thing is, like you said, this is organized religion. They tell you it is because it is. They don't try to give you an explanation as to why or how. They created a hell and heaven because it is. Whereas if you're a scientist, they'll give you reasons to why there isn't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, between us, I feel like there's people who are eager to know. People wake up, drink coffee, go to work, go to sleep. They don't care about the afterlife. They don't care about if there's a God. Us, we conversate, you look. And the Bible says when you look, you find. So you have these two values, that you believe in something, but you're open to the possibility of something else.
Yeah, so if you read the Bible, Jesus came, he died for our sins, and he died, and he wake up the next 3 days. Where did he go after he woke up?
He appeared to Mary Magdalene, to a woman, and she was one of the witnesses that seen that Jesus was alive, which brings controversy because back then they wouldn't believe women. They used to say that you couldn't take the word of a woman's mouth truthful. So a lot of people say, did he really come to life? Or is the woman lying?
Yeah, Jesus came to save us from our sins. After the 3 days, he got up and he went to lovely Father.
I really don't want to get into... I
don't either.
I think this is a topic of its own that would be interesting to bring on, just speaking on religion, because a lot of people believe that Jesus wasn't the savior. He was another prophet.
Okay, if he was other prophet, you name me a prophet that he came down and he got crucified and he got up.
The thing is, when Jesus was alive, he used to have prophets with him, right?
Name one prophet that came heal people. None of the prophets could do that.
I was going there. So the reason they couldn't heal other people like him was because Jesus said, "You men of little faith." So that means that the prophets that were with him, the other disciples, they lacked the faith that he had. He was basically telling all of us, you can do it too, but you don't have no faith. You're doubting. That's why you can't do it. So that's where in my heart people say, oh, only Jesus could do it. But Jesus is telling us everyone can do it. Even in this age, thousands and years later, people can still do it, but they don't have the faith that he had. So Jesus in these books, like from a different perspective out of Christianity, he's teaching us how to be like him. You can heal the people. There was a kid that had like, now it would be like epilepsy, you know, they have seizures and stuff. He's like, how come you couldn't heal him? You have the same faith. I walk with you. I teach you. Every day I'm showing you, you can't heal this person. I think Buddhists, they believe that we can all be like Jesus. And if you tell a Christian person that, they're going to be like, you're blasphemous.
I stand to my beliefs.
Do you think it's because you are holding on to those beliefs because of your culture? Or is it because you truly believe it in your heart that that's the truth?
When I was younger, I got sick when I was 16 years old. I got really bad. I got a sickness. It was like a SARS. You know, I kind of was sick for 3 months. I've been to checked by a lot of doctors. They said I have no chance to live. You know, and they prayed for me. They prayed for me, and I got better. And a lot of doctors said it's not possible to make it alive. And when I get older, I will pray for stuff, and you know, I would receive whatever I was praying for in end of the day. But it might take a little time, but I would get there. So I believe God was listening to me.
And I feel like that's your personal experience. But how do you tell others that haven't experienced? What if someone else prays for their son or their mother to heal, then they don't get healed? And they're praying to the same God. And they're like, how come you healed him but not me?
In the Bible, I believe, I'm not sure what verses is. Again, I'm not,
Very,
I'm not like very memorized the Bible very well. But in this section, there is a blind man. A lot of people say, Jesus, why you want to, you know, heal the blind man? He's a sinner. That's why his eyes not like that. He's not. The God says he's not a sinner. He's gifted from the God. And in the Bible, there is a section. It says about people that have disabilities and stuff like that. It says that those are the ones that they have a first door open to the heaven.
Yeah, that they're the first ones to enter heaven, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like your beliefs do come from your, you know, not just cultural, but you actually believe them. For me, it wasn't the case, which is like, you know, I grew up Catholic too. I was baptized as a baby, everything that you're supposed to do as a Catholic. But once I reached a certain age, I was like, wait, there's more to this. And then that's when I decided to, you know, be involved in the church. And but you know, once you get involved in the church, you begin to realize that a lot of it is you know, money, talk, business. It's not faith anymore. It's a business. And that's when you begin to shift off and learn and want to know more.
So there's a lot of signs that God exists, you know, and I think the true God is Jesus Christ. I believe.
Yeah.
So
I think the faith is really important, you know, for personal journey and future. I think, like I said, I stand by faith is one of the most important things in a partner, because not only like it teaches you their values and beliefs. You know, some like as little as it is, like be kind to your neighbor. Someone who's not a Christian or Catholic, they're like, oh yeah, obviously be nice to people, but that goes beyond the verse. Like doing stuff for them, you know, learning how to do things without anything back. You know, the verse that says if they want to slap you in the one cheek, put the other one too.
A lot of people mistaking this with the kindness, you know. But there was one point that Jesus was carrying the cross, and some of the guys that they were like a prisoner holders hit God in the face, and then God stand up for himself. He said, "Why are you hitting me?" He defend himself, you know. So when they say that, God never said never defend yourself, you know, but he said to be kind to each other.
Remember the core of it rather than, you know, fighting back or choosing violence over. You know, remember who you are, pretty much.
In the Bible, the one word is being repeatedly back to back. It says, "Have no fear."
Have no fear.
It's
Fear.
over 300 words, 300 times it's repeatedly said, "Have no fear."
Throughout the Bible. Yeah.
It's more than that, 326, I believe. I'm not sure.
So going off of like, you know, this religion talk, like I don't know if you've heard the verse say you have to be equally yoked with your partner. Do you know what that means?
I'll be honest with you now.
No. So usually people say it has to do something with eggs because of the yolk. But honestly, it's not. To be equally yoked, back then they used to have donkeys, right? Or camels or whatever the case, two animals. They used to put a wood thing on their backs and they used to haul like stuff, like whatever, maize or corn, whatever the case is, but they used to be two of them. And if one of the let's say a donkey was bigger than the other one,
It will be
uneven, so it will tip over. If one of them was lazier than the other one, this one would be pushing the one in the back. So that the yoke is the top, the thing that holds them together. And in relationships, and specifically in a spiritual relationship like Christian, they say don't marry someone that is not equally yoked to you.
It's funny if you say that, you know, even if you go to court, have you seen the old scale with two things in the chain, you know? First thing you walk in the court, you'll see that as well.
Do you think that's important to be equally yoked? I give people the analogy of, let's say me and you we want to go to the gym. You are trying to gain muscle and I'm trying to lose weight, but we're both going to the gym. That's the same thing. You're going towards the same journey, same path, even though we may be different. When one person, like you, if you were successful and I like to spend a lot of money, like I don't want to work, I just want to spend your money, you're dragging me. You want someone who's going at the same pace as you, the same way, right?
Right.
And that goes with religion, like we talked, money, financials, what else? Even like interpersonal like qualities, like if you're jealous, if someone's always nagging on you, like, where are you at? Why are you with this person? Who are you with? You're dragging. I think this relationship is more about being alignment with each other than what makes us different. Yes, we come from different cultures. Yes, we were raised probably different. I don't know how your family dynamics was growing up. I grew up with a dad that was very strict. My mom had no say in family matters. So I grew up to think that the man has the control. Nowadays with you, we're both working. We're both pushing forward, right? In a household, I don't expect to be the one cleaning everything. Don't get me wrong, I truly enjoy it. It's just a part of my nurture being that I like to clean, cook, and stuff. But I would expect you to equally contribute, right?
It's great, it's common sense. When you go to bathroom, automatically you have to flush the bathroom. It
Mm-hmm.
comes all as common sense. As me growing up, my mom was always clean the house, make sure everything's clean for us. So it's a habit. If even at work or
Mm-hmm.
at my job, when I have mess around me, I can really
Mm-hmm.
focus and think. It kind of irritates me. So
Mm-hmm.
I think everything has a place for itself, even in us in life. I think we should be take care of each other, not thinking, oh, this is your job, this is your job,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to do this. It's not like that. Maybe if you're sick one day and you don't feel good, I don't expect you to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a common sense, I gotta cook, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
clean the mess I made, so I carry on. It's like a trail.
I think many of us, I can speak for a lot of women that are successful. Our biggest fear is to be with a man that expect us to contribute financially, but also to go home and do everything. That's our biggest fear as a woman, to be like, I just clocked out, but now I gotta go clean, cook, put the clothes to wash, and then the man's like chilling. I did my part.
When man comes home, sometimes they have too much going on in their head, and a lot of men they usually keep quiet. They don't talk to
Mm-hmm.
anybody. So when they come home, they need to rest a little bit before the brain clicks in to normal. I believe it takes like hour or two. They just want to be quiet and relax before they do anything. I believe. I think it's fair to give them a little break here and there. Yeah, because a lot of people is as soon as they get home, oh, did you pay this? Did you pay that one? Did you take care of this? They already have they work during
Mm-hmm.
all day. They had to deal with whatever had to they deal with them that day,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of pressure on them, But a lot of men they usually keep it quiet.
I see that, but what is it like when the thing is, yes, like personally, if you put me in a situation where I'm home all day, I don't work, you're working, but I'm not. I would not put that pressure of being like, all right, babe, now we're gonna do this and this and that. I would welcome you to a home that's clean. The dishes are clean. There's food on the table. There's everything's ready to go. But what happens when they both work and she's stressed too? Her boss has been giving her a bad time, and you went through hell at your job, and you come home, there's a pile of dishes, or you guys are both hungry. It's 6 p.m. That's when you begin to think about like, okay, I can't expect her to get off and start cooking right away if I'm just gonna sit down and chill.
No, I totally understand. That's why if they both working, they have probably have a good income. They can order food, or that's how the relationship works. They have to work together.
Be realistic. Are you gonna order out every day?
And not every day, but once in a while it happens.
Yes.
You know.
That's the thing where women bring that conversation up. Like, you want me to go work and pay bills, but you also want me to come and cook and clean. Like, pick one. Because I can't, it's only one person. Let's say I get home, I start cooking, but you're gonna start the load of, clothes. Let's be honest, a traditional man is gonna be like, that's not my job. I don't know how to cook. That's not my. That's what traditionally people don't either want to be traditional or modern. Modern men, they know how to cook, clean, everything that the woman traditionally does.
I totally understand, but at the end of the day, if there is only cooking issue, they can always find a way to do it. But cleaning wise, I probably, for example, let's say we have this problem, right? Me and you. You
Mm-hmm.
work 8 to 5, I work 8 to 5. We
Yeah.
come home, right? Obviously, we're tired. We have to take a rest. It will take an hour to take
Mm-hmm.
a shower, get ready, and you can cook, and then I can do the cleaning or I can go cut the yards when I'm not working. We can always communicate with each other to make our life easier.
Well, I've talked about it in my previous podcast how, let's be honest, you don't know how to cook.
No,
And I wouldn't expect you to learn how to cook. Why? Because you were raised in a household where your mom was a stay at home mom, right?
correct.
So she took care of everything.
Back then, it was very easier to purchase a house, and a lot of things were cheaper.
Yes.
So, if the guy works, he can provide for the family. But now, that generation kind of, because everything kind of prices, inflation gone up, it's a little harder for men to work and make that money for the family. But I believe if they work as a team, nothing is possible. If they, long as they have a good communication and they respect each other, I don't think they unstoppable.
Between us, I would want to first be a mother, a wife, and then a business owner. Like, yes, I want to be successful. I would not be the type to be like, I want to stay home, be a housewife, be going to brunch, doing this. Like typical modern woman would see as traditional wife, right? I would have something for myself, even if I work part time or 15, 20 hours to contribute. But my goal is to sustain a household, right? Where you don't have to worry about cooking. You get home, your food is there. You don't have to worry. Men, let's be honest, they think that cleaning takes 10 seconds. You wipe something down and you're good. But men like you that are into cars, detailing, having everything clean, that takes a minute. Imagine a whole house you scrub deep.
I totally understand. Sorry, I stopped you between your conversation. How many times a month you deep clean your car?
Not my car, but my house, at least deep clean twice a week.
It's not bad, but it's not necessary to be done. If like for example, right? If I come home and you cooked, if I wash the dishes or you wash the dishes, and you wake up in the morning and you clean after yourself, if everything is organized, what's the reason behind cleaning every day?
This is a question you would ask your mother because you're at work while she's cleaning. You think it doesn't get dirty, but you don't see her brooming every single day.
My mom has that problem. She wants everything
I'm
perfect.
the same way.
Yeah, I totally
Unfortunately,
understand how that becomes this problem.
it becomes a problem because men don't realize, they think it's an easy little job to stay home. They think it's nothing. You're doing nothing. You're watching TV. You're waking up at 10 p.m. at 10 in the morning. That's what they have, the illusion of a stay at home.
Correct. Let me tell you this. Since I was a kid, I didn't like to stay at home too much, me personally, but if I had no other option, this is I'm talking as a man, I'm not talking about as a woman or wife. If I have nothing to do, I automatically get bored. I have to find something to do. So that cleaning comes from that. There's nothing wrong with the cleaning house, but to clean it over and over and over and over is, I don't think is unnecessary. To being clean is nothing wrong with being clean, but to be over clean, imagine I'm at work, only thing I think to go home clean, there is something wrong with me.
That's the perspective that, it's good to talk about because that's what men say. I've seen a lot of TikToks where they're like, you're going to work, it's fine. You're helping me with bills. Like, we'll take care of like the chores at home later. But do you really want to come home to a messy home? And I'm not saying like stuff everywhere, but like, what's uncomfortable.
No, I totally agree, but the thing is, for example, let's say we came home and the house is dirty. You see it, I'll see it, right? So what's the first thing you talk about? Hey, the house is dirty. Let's help me clean it. Correct?
Yeah.
So you clean it one time and you keep it clean. It will take a week or two to get dirty, I believe. You know, it's nothing worse than your vehicle. How long? How many days it will take you to clean your car?
I don't clean it often.
Okay, and the car is outside, in the sun, in the rain, and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that.
don't.
Exactly.
The thing is, let me give you this question right now, and I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay, go ahead.
This office that we're sitting in,
Correct.
I cleaned it one day, and the next day, is it still the same?
This studio is built somewhere that is a little bit dusty, which is fine. If you have a pet and stuff like that, I totally understand, you know. But if you go home, like for example, you work, you go home at night, I go home at night, there's nobody at home. How is it going to get messy and dirty?
The thing is, here in this office, we're here 2 hours a day. At home, we're gonna be there at least 12 hours. You don't think it's gonna get dirty?
How is it going to get dirty?
You
I
drink
mean, it's
water,
gonna be
you
there.
leave a cup. You take off your sweater, you leave it there.
Again,
Your
that's
shoes there. In
Like-
one day, it'll go like this.
again, that's as we speak, you know, I said it from the beginning. If everybody, like for example, I told you I started with this. If you go to bathroom, what automatically you do is you flush the toilet. You know, if you clean after yourself, it shouldn't be that much mess. Is that right? It's common sense.
I get where you're going. Yes. There's a TikTok of a lady that her name is Amber. When I tell you she has 3 kids and the house is filthy, like disgusting. And she says that her house is lived in. So what that term means is it's an everyday thing that it gets dirty. And you're like, how the heck does it get like that in one day?
She has 3 kids.
Exactly.
And she doesn't work.
We have a routine, right?
Yeah.
You say it's common sense to pick up your shoes, to take off your, but naturally things get messy.
So, you know, at least the one thing she can do, she can clean.
One thing, that's washing dishes, making food, changing diapers, showering, putting them to bed, and making. That's not one thing.
I'm not saying this thing is not hard, but you know, if you try to maintain it clean, you know,
Yeah.
and you tell your kids, you know, that's again, it comes with how you've been raised.
Exactly.
You know, you teach your kids how to clean after themselves and put everything back they're supposed to be. Even though if they eat, even they put the, you know, plates in the washer, you know,
Yeah.
you can't always wash. But if you leave it everywhere, that's where it gets messy.
Yeah, and it has to do a lot with how you were raised, your
Exactly.
beliefs, your everything, your morals. But it goes back to the same question, like being a stay-at-home person is a job. It's not something just lightly.
No, I totally agree. As we speak, you know, I said it's a man's duty to provide for his family.
Yeah.
But because of the inflation and everything has been rising so high, you know, it's be helpful if a woman help out. End of the day, you know, we are a man. We have to go make it happen.
In our relationship, I think about that a lot. I don't know if you can agree, but I put a lot of pressure on you to be that like role model, right? It's not that I'm like feeding off of you or I'm a gold digger or
Yeah.
I don't consider that I'm a gold digger, but I do push you beyond your limits because I believe that dynamic is necessary. Like I said, I don't expect you to deep clean the house or cook these meals that I would do, right? So that's where you have to put in your masculinity traits more, right?
I totally understand. You know, even if you work, you know, you're trying to help out. You know, that's what the whole point is. You know, I don't look at it as your job, and I don't have a gun pointed at you. That was a joke, but you know,
Because I'm just
but my point is, you know, I'm nobody's forcing you. Just trying to do it as a goodwill to help the family. You
yeah,
know.
exactly. As a man, what do you feel is like a woman passing their boundaries, like a gold digger versus a woman that actually wants to see you succeed?
There is three different people. There is one, the takers. The
Mm-hmm.
other one are givers. And then the other one are stolers. The stolers will steal everything.
Uh-huh.
The taken ones, they will hurt you, with your feelings. And the third one is the ones that love you.
But how do you characterize each?
The stealer is the gold digger. They're usually there for the benefits,
Mm-hmm. What you can offer for them.
Yes. And then the other option is, the takers. They usually spend time with you. They're there for the benefits, not as money wise. They're there to just
See where
take
it
their
goes.
time.
Yeah.
They're just there to just be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily money,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are lonely in this world.
Exactly.
They're just trying to fill out the time, And then the other ones that they really love you, and
Mm-hmm.
respect you, who you are. They want you to see you do good in life.
That's very interesting. As in, like for men, it goes the same way. We don't see men as like, like you said, some men, they just want you because you're pretty or you're hot or you're sexy and you have a woman that looks good. But they don't really care emotionally, right? They just look good with someone next to them. This is like millionaires. There's a lot of people that are well known and they want a pretty girl next to them, right? There's men who are with you for short time. They just want to see where it goes, like let's see like what I can get out of this, but they're not thinking long term. They're just like, we're dating now. And then there's the men that actually are pursuing something, right? Where they're like, one day I want to make her my wife, my mother of my children. I'm working really hard because I want to achieve that.
The thing is, for example, a lot of men work 9 to 5, and they always going after pretty girls. But the pretty girls, because of the way they wear, dress, the status, income, and stuff like that, the status of the job, they usually don't go for the guy that makes the minimum wage. It's very hard for a man.
That's very true.
But if a millionaire is a rich guy, obviously a lot of people want to be with them because of the benefits. It's easier when you have money. They don't look at how you look and stuff like that.
Like naturally, a woman wants a man who is successful. A woman doesn't really want a man who's in process of becoming. Usually, they want a man who's got their house,
It's ready to
car,
go.
ready to
Yeah.
go.
It's like a
have
drive-through.
kids.
Pick up and go.
That's ideally the woman what we look for, right?
There's not too many women who will give a man a chance if they have a 9 to 5 job. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So obviously, if the man is a millionaire and he's already up there, he's looking for something really specific. He's looking for somebody
Yeah,
has no
exactly.
kids, at least.
Skinny, pretty, looks good.
I mean, every person has a different type. I'm not gonna tell them what they want, but in general, they're looking
Yeah.
for something really good.
That's how you know that a woman loves you, is when she's stuck with you when you didn't have shit,
Exactly.
and she's in the process with you, because you're not the only one struggling. It's your partner too.
Exactly.
You can't go fancy dates. You can't do this, all of this, because you know the priorities. That's how you can tell if she's a gold digger or she truly genuine loves you.
Yeah.
The same for men. We have to feel motivated ourselves. Not like you're rising separately. Include your partner into your goals. Yes, it's okay to have independently your own stuff, but when your wife feels like included,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of men that it's so sad, but once they make it, once they're successful, they're rich and they got money, they leave their wife, they cheat on her, they go for the young one, the pretty one, when this woman stuck with you all this time. And believe me, psychologically, there's studies that that happens a lot. And that I always tell the women that listen to me and stuff, never put your trust 100% into a man. Not because you don't trust him, you should, but you should always have something for yourself.
You know, I'll tell you this. This is a problem with a lot of men's. This comes with the background. So a lot of guys that, I don't want to be rude or anything, but a lot of people, as a man, before they didn't have money, so they had problem talking to people and go out, socialize with people and stuff like that. So when they get into the point that they have money and everything, they will have a lot of options. Obviously, of course, they can buy a better car, better watches, better house. This. So people see, and it's easier for them to talk to women. So if if it goes back, if they were younger and they never experienced this kind of stuff, it kind of, that's where it goes
Yeah.
at the end, I believe.
They're ego filled, like ego driven, like, oh, now I can choose whatever I want.
Correct.
I have the option to, which is sad. I mean, I don't know what you think, that it's cruel to leave the person that was with you on the journey. There's a TikTok to this woman. She had 4 kids, right? She was big woman, like over 300 pounds, and she got a BBL. Now she looks hot, and she started getting attention from men here, and the husband, well, he's an average looking man. He's not handsome. He's not hella money. She started to look around. She found somebody else, someone more handsome, more successful, more. And that's the thing, men do that, but women too.
Yeah, it goes both ways, it goes from the background as we speak, how they've been raised and how they had the time to speak with other people, how socialize. Yeah,
It goes back to way in the beginning, the core foundation of the
correct.
relationship,
The roots.
the roots, the stability. Did you guys build that? And when you get married, what do they say? In rich and in poor, in sad and happiness. You have to be there in the good times, the bad times. The point is for both of the partners to grow together. She got hot. Why didn't the guy go get, whatever? There's many plastic surgeries to elevate him, right?
Yeah.
It's both. But she decided, no, I want a whole new man. And that's the problem with, you know.
As that man, I would have a great motivation to get back in the track.
No, he actually, they went viral on TikTok. They're both successful, but obviously she's a beautiful woman and he's not handsome. And the thing is, this disbalance of not being aligned anymore. It could be physical appearance, but like, I think for a lot of us women, that's scary. For your man to like help you, maybe invest in you, and then one day you're like, I'm going with another girl. Like, you stay. I don't want you anymore. That's one of our biggest fears of investing so much time and effort. Well, to wrap this end a little bit, we talked about how we come from different backgrounds, but we're very similar. I think this is what makes our relationship really strong, that we're going the same way. We have the similar goals, and we bump heads like any other relationship. We have little discussions, but overall, just because he's a Syrian, I'm Mexican, he likes my food. He likes the woman, obviously. And in this modern time, you blend cultures together. I often think of myself, I'm like, and what would it be like to have a kid like with someone else? Like I'd always joke around with him, like, I'm gonna take him to your mom's house and he's gonna come talking to me in Assyrian, like, what are you saying, boy? Like, I don't know that language, but it's very it makes me excited because I'm like, my kids are gonna speak a lot of languages. Like, it's an advantage. It stimulates a part of their brain to, quote unquote, like, have a higher IQ, because they are programmed to to speak different language from a young age, right? I'm happy in this relationship, you know. If you go back to my episodes, I share a lot about my past relationships and how it brought me here. You know, we learned a lot of lessons when we date other people, and you evolutionize. There's a lot of different topics we could go hours about, and we should, especially like I talk a lot about religion or business. There's podcasts where we can talk about how to start a business. Well, you can do, anybody can do it. It's just you have to be willing to take the risk, right?
There's nothing possible in this life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Long as there is hope, there is always a future,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for everybody. It's just sometimes you gotta willing to take a risk. Sometimes we fail, but failure is just part of the process, you know, nothing less.
Yeah, and this is the land of opportunity. You know, they call the U.S. the land of opportunity.
Right.
You sailed, you flew from different countries to get here to a land where you have easily the ability to open a business. In Mexico, I know you have to have a lot of money to even think about opening a business. I want to thank you for being my first guest. I hope you guys like this, and hopefully we could have another episode further on, maybe in a couple years and months, see where things have been changing, growing. Make sure you guys follow me. There's a lot of you that just listen every week, but you guys don't hit that follow, and it helps the audience grow. But thank you guys.
Thank you.